How do we hold Israel accountable for their actions? Israeli author and Palestinian rights activist Miko Peled said the most effective way is to boycott, divest and sanction movement against Israel. He says there is more urgency now for citizens to step up pressure on their respective governments to boycott Israel as the international community has failed to protect Palestinians.
I believe the key that we have, particularly those of us who live, people who live on the outside of Palestine, is to demand that our politicians support, boycott, demand sanctions, and demand divestment from the state of Israel. This, I believe, is key to the success of the struggle to liberate Palestine from this violent, racist regime, which is the state of Israel. The international community has been completely either silent or complicit. I mean, the Europeans, the Americans are complicit in this, in these crimes. And so I think what needs to be done is people of conscience throughout the world need to demand of their governments to stop doing business with Israel. And Malaysia, for example, of course, has no relations with Israel, but we know that there's a lot of business being done with Israeli companies. That has to stop. And certainly Malaysian jobs, people rely on jobs with Israeli companies, but this has to stop. Israel has got to be punished in a way that they will never be able to do this again. This slaughter in Gaza, the treatment of Palestinians throughout the entire country here has I believe always has been far above and beyond what should be acceptable. But particularly now, I mean, it's time to stand up. It's time to boycott. It's time to demand sanctions against the state of Israel. There must be an arms embargo. There should be no sales of arms to Israel. Absolutely no weapons at all should reach this country. There should be a no-fly zone over Gaza, so Israel will not be allowed to continue to bomb Gaza from the air. I mean, the world has got to stand up and act, or else we will see Al-Aqsa destroyed. We will see Jerusalem destroyed, and we will see the people of Gaza murdered by the thousands. And I'm not exaggerating. You're asking about the end game. The end game is there's going to be a winner and a loser. And if the world stands up, then Palestinians will be the winners. If the world does not stand up, Palestinians will be the losers. Israel will win. And if Israel wins, that means that Al-Aqsa will be destroyed. It means the beautiful golden dome of Jerusalem that represents Jerusalem will be destroyed and replaced by some other structure that they call a temple. I don't think it is, but that's what they call it.